The dead ship floated in the black emptiness of space like a forgotten skeleton. It was old, very old. The metal was dark and twisted, covered in scars from battles that happened before humans even left their home planet. Park Do-yun looked at it through the window of his small ship and felt something strange in his chest. Not fear. Something like curiosity mixed with sadness. "That thing is worthless," said Yoon Nari from the pilot's seat. She was chewing on a protein stick and looking at her screens with bored eyes. "Valen Empire junk. Nobody wants Valen tech anymore. It's like trying to sell broken toys." Do-yun did not answer. He was already putting on his work suit, checking the seals on his gloves, making sure his tools were ready. He was 32 years old, not tall, not strong, with hands that were always dirty from machine oil. People often looked past him. He was just a mechanic after all. Just a man who fixed broken things for a company that paid him barely enough to eat. But Do-hyun had a gift. He understood machines. Not in the way engineers understood them, with numbers and formulas. He understood them the way a doctor understands a sick patient. He could feel when something was wrong. He could hear it in the sounds they made. He could see it in the way they moved. "I'm going in," he said. Nari sighed. "Fine, but if you die in there, I'm not writing a nice report about it." "You never write nice reports anyway." "True." The airlock opened, and Do-hyun floated across the gap between the ships. The Valen warship was massive, stretching out in all directions like a metal mountain. He found a hole in the hull and climbed inside. The darkness was complete. His helmet light cut through it like a small knife. The air was dead and cold. Frost covered the walls. He moved slowly, carefully, deeper into the ship. Most of the rooms were empty. Some had old equipment that fell apart when he touched it. Some had bones, Valen bones, thin and brittle, scattered across the floors. The Valen Empire had died 1,000 years ago, destroyed in a war that nobody really remembered anymore. Now their ships were just garbage floating in space. Do-hyun kept moving. He did not know why. Something was pulling him forward. After 2 hours, he found the hidden room. It was behind a collapsed wall, buried under tons of broken metal. A normal person would have walked past it. But Do-hyun heard something. A tiny sound. A soft humming, barely there, like a heartbeat. He started digging. It took him another hour to clear the debris. His arms were burning, his suit was scratched and dented, but finally he broke through. The room inside was small and clean. Frost covered everything, but the walls were smooth and undamaged. In the center stood a machine he had never seen before. It was tall, made of blue metal that seemed to glow faintly from inside. A cryogenic chamber, a freezing pod for living things. And inside the pod was a creature. Do-hyun moved closer, his breath loud in his helmet. The creature was huge, at least 3 meters tall, with 4 arms and skin that looked like gray stone. It wore armor that was fused to its body, covered in symbols he did not recognize. Its face was almost human, but wider, with closed eyes and a mouth set in a peaceful line. This was not a Velen. This was something else. Something much older. The screen on the chamber flickered. Numbers appeared, then words, translating slowly into human language. Species, Orivani class, Guardian Protector, status, cryosleep duration, 1358 years, chamber. Integrity, 23%, 23%. Do-hyun felt his stomach drop. The chamber was dying. The creature inside would die with it. He pressed his communication button. "Nari, I found something." "What kind of something?" "The kind that changes everything." Nari arrived 20 minutes later, pushing through the debris with much less patience than Do-hyun had shown. When she saw the chamber, she stopped. Her face went pale. "What the hell is that?" "An Orivani," said Do-hyun. "A guardian. I read about them once. They were protectors. engineered to guard other species during the old wars. They were supposed to be extinct. It should stay extinct. Nari grabbed his arm. Do-hyun, listen to me. We need to report this and leave. Right now. This thing is worth more than both our lives. Governments will fight over it. Companies will kill for it. We are nobody. We cannot be involved in this. Do-hyun looked at the chamber screen again. The number had dropped to 21%. It's dying, he said. Good. Let it die. It's been asleep for over 1,000 years. It's not our problem. But Do-hyun was already opening his tool bag. He pulled out wire cutters, circuit boards, a small welding torch. His hands moved automatically, like they always did when there was something broken in front of him. Do-hyun. Nari's voice was hard now. Do-hyun, stop. Think about what you're doing. I am thinking, he said quietly. This machine is broken. I fix broken things. That's what I do. That's all I know how to do. He cut into the chamber's outer panel and found the power systems inside. They were alien, complicated, built with technology humans had not invented yet. But machines were machines. They all worked on the same basic ideas. Power needed to flow. Connections needed to be stable. Broken parts needed to be replaced. Do-hyun worked for 3 hours. He replaced dead cells with batteries from his own suit. He rewired connections using wire from Nari's ship. He welded broken circuits back together with hands that did not shake even once. Nari watched him. At some point, she stopped arguing and started helping, holding lights and passing tools. She knew that look in his eyes. There was no stopping him when he had that look. Finally, the chamber hummed louder. The blue glow became brighter. The screen flickered. Chamber integrity, 67%. Warning, forced awakening recommended chamber will fail in 4.7 hours. It's stable, Do-hyun said, but not for long. We need to wake it up. Nari looked at him like he was insane. Wake up a 1,000-year-old alien weapon? Are you trying to get us killed? Before Do-hyun could answer, the screen changed again. New words appeared, flashing red. Warning, Guardian Class Protector. Do not wake, do not wake, do not wake. The words repeated over and over, filling the screen. Someone a long time ago had programmed this warning. Someone had wanted this Guardian to stay asleep forever. Do-hyun looked at the frozen face behind the glass. It looked peaceful, tired, like someone who had been fighting for too long and just wanted to rest. Everyone deserves a choice, he said quietly, even old soldiers. He reached for the awakening switch. The chamber made a sound like breaking ice. Steam poured out from the edges, filling the small room with white clouds. Nari pulled Do-hyun backward, her hand gripping his arm so tight it hurt. They pressed against the far wall and watched. The glass front of the chamber cracked. Then it shattered. The Guardian fell forward. It caught itself on 4 massive arms, crouching on the frozen floor like a wounded animal. Its gray skin was covered in frost. Its breath came out in rough clouds. For a long moment, it did not move. Then its eyes opened. They were gold, bright gold, like 2 small suns burning in a face made of stone. Those eyes looked around the room, seeing everything, understanding nothing. They were the eyes of someone waking up from a nightmare into a world that made no sense. The Guardian stood up slowly. Its full height was terrifying. Its head nearly touched the ceiling. The armor on its body clicked and shifted, adjusting to movements that had not happened for over 1,000 years. When it spoke, its voice was deep and broken, like rocks grinding together. Where, it said. The word came out wrong, twisted by a throat that had forgotten how to make sounds. Where are my charges? Do-hyun did not understand the question, but he understood the pain behind it. You've been asleep, he said carefully, for a very long time. The golden eyes focused on him. Do-yun felt like an insect being examined by something vast and ancient. He did not look away. "How long?" the Guardian asked. 1,000. 358 years. The Guardian went very still. The gold light in its eyes flickered. Its 4 hands opened and closed, grasping at nothing. "The war," it said. "The Valen. The Alliance. My brothers and sisters. The ones I was protecting. Are they—" Nari spoke before Do-hyun could stop her. "Gone. All of them. The Valen Empire fell 1,000 years ago. The Alliance broke apart. Nobody even remembers what you were fighting about." It was cruel. It was honest. Nari did not know any other way to be. The Guardian made a sound. It was not a word. It was something deeper, something that came from a place beyond language, a sound of absolute loss. Then it moved. Do-hyun barely saw it happen. One moment the Guardian was standing by the chamber. The next moment it was in front of him. One massive hand wrapped around his throat, lifting him off the ground like he weighed nothing. "You woke me," the Guardian said. Its voice was different now, harder, colder. "You brought me back to this, to nothing, to emptiness. Why?" Do-hyun could not breathe. Black spots danced in his vision. He could feel the strength in that hand, the power that could crush his neck like paper. But he was not afraid. Or maybe he was too oxygen-deprived to feel fear. He reached into his pocket. His fingers found what they were looking for. He held it up in front of the Guardian's face, a ration bar, standard emergency food, bland, nutritious, and completely ridiculous as a peace offering to an ancient alien warrior. The Guardian stared at it. The gold eyes blinked. Do-hyun tried to speak. It came out as a croak. "Hungry?" For 3 heartbeats, nothing happened. Then the Guardian's grip loosened. Do-hyun fell to the ground, gasping for air. When he looked up, the Guardian was still staring at the ration bar with an expression that might have been confusion. "I do not understand you," the Guardian said. "That's okay." Do-hyun rubbed his throat. "I don't understand me either most of the time." Nari helped him stand. She was shaking, but she hid it well. She always did. "My name is Park Do-hyun," he said. "This is Yoon Nari. We're humans, salvage workers. We were taking apart this ship when I found your chamber." "Humans." The Guardian tested the word. "I do not know this species." "We're new, relatively speaking. We only started exploring space about 800 years ago." The Guardian sat down. The movement was heavy, exhausted. It looked at its hands like they belonged to someone else. "I am Kyle," it said finally. "Third Guardian of the Orevani, Protector of the Eastern Alliance, Sworn Shield of the Innocent." A pause. "These titles mean nothing now." "They mean something to you," Do-hyun said. "That's enough." Kyle looked at him. The anger was fading from those golden eyes, replaced by something worse. Emptiness. The look of someone who had lost everything and did not know how to keep existing. "Why did you save me, human? The warning was clear. You should have let me die." Do-hyun thought about the question. He could give a complicated answer, talk about morality, about the value of life, about hope and second chances. But that was not really it. The truth was simpler. "Your machine was broken," he said. "I fix broken things." I didn't think about it much more than that. Kale made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You risked your life to repair a machine, without knowing what was inside, without knowing if I would kill you when I woke." "Yeah. Your species is very strange. You have no idea." Nari had been watching the door. Now she turned back, her face tight with worry. "We have a problem. I'm picking up a signal. Confederation patrol ship. They're responding to our salvage beacon." Do-hyun's heart sank. The Galactic Confederation was the current government of this part of space. They were supposed to keep peace and order. In reality, they were bureaucrats with guns who liked to control everything they could not understand. "They'll have scanners," Nari continued. "They'll detect Kyle's biosignature, something this powerful, this unknown. They'll classify him as a threat." Kyle stood up again. "I will surrender to them. I have no wish to cause trouble for those who saved me." "You don't understand," Do-hyun said. "They won't arrest you. They'll study you, take you apart, try to figure out how you work. And when they're done learning, they'll destroy you. That's what they do with things they can't control." The Guardian's eyes flashed. "I am not a thing." "I know. They don't." The patrol ship was getting closer. Do-hyun could see it now through the broken hull of the Valen warship. White and clean and official-looking. The kind of ship that believed it was always right. Nari grabbed Do-hyun's arm. "We need to go, now. If we leave before they scan this section, maybe they won't find anything." "And leave Kale here? Alone?" "Do-hyun." Her voice cracked. "He's a 1,000-year-old alien weapon. He's not our responsibility." Do-hyun looked at Kyle. The Guardian stood tall and still, watching them argue about his fate. His face showed nothing, but his eyes were not empty anymore. There was something new in them, something like hope, small and fragile. "Everyone keeps calling him a weapon," Do-hyun said quietly. "But weapons don't grieve. Weapons don't feel loss. He's not a weapon. He's a person. A person who woke up to find everyone he loved was dead." He turned to Nari. "I'm not leaving him." Nari closed her eyes. She swore in 3 different languages, then she nodded. "Fine. But when we die, I'm going to haunt you forever." "Fair enough." They ran for the ship. Kyle followed, moving with surprising silence for something so large. Behind them, the patrol ship began its scanning sequence, searching for threats in the graveyard of an empire that no longer existed. The hunt had begun. 3 weeks. That was how long they survived as fugitives. The Persistence was a small ship, built for 2 people, not 3. With Kale aboard, everything was crowded. He had to bend down in every room. He could not fit through most doors. He slept in the cargo hold, curled up between boxes of salvage equipment like a giant metal cat. But he never complained. Not once. Do-hyun spent most of his time fixing things. The ship was old and tired, held together by patches and prayers. Every day something new broke down. Every day he found a way to make it work a little longer. Kyle watched him. The Guardian seemed fascinated by how Do-hyun worked. He would sit in the corner, golden eyes following every movement of Do-hyun's hands. "You talk to the machines," Kyle said one day. Do-hyun looked up from the engine he was repairing. Oil was smeared across his face. "What?" "When you work, you speak to them. You say things like, 'Come on,' and 'please,' and 'don't give up on me,' as if they can hear you." Do-hyun shrugged. "Maybe they can. I don't know. It helps me focus. My people believe that everything has a spirit. Machines, rocks, stars. We believe that respect and care could make things work better." Kyle paused. "I thought we were being foolish, but watching you, I am not so sure anymore." The Confederation was hunting them. Do-hyun saw the reports on every station they passed. A rogue salvage ship, 2 human criminals, an unregistered alien weapon of unknown origin. Dangerous. Shoot on sight. They could not stay anywhere for long. They jumped from system to system, always moving, always hiding. Nari knew the smuggler routes, the dark paths between stars where official ships did not go. She kept them alive with skill and luck, and a stubbornness that matched Do-hyun's own. On the 4th week, they met Han Soo-jin. She was waiting for them at a station on the edge of nowhere. A small woman with sharp eyes and a smile that promised trouble. She sold information to anyone who could pay, and she knew things that governments tried to keep secret. Nari had worked with her before. She did not trust her, but they needed help. "The Guardian of Legend," Sujin said, looking at Kale with obvious interest. I thought your kind was extinct. Everyone did. The Confederation is very upset that they were wrong. Kale stood silent. He did not like strangers. He especially did not like strangers who looked at him like he was a puzzle to solve. What do you want? Nari asked. I have information, Sujin said. Information about why the Orivani really disappeared. Information the Confederation has kept buried for over 1,000 years. She named her price. It was high. Too high. Do-Yun stepped forward. We can't afford that. Then find a way. Sujin's smile faded. Because what I know will change everything. Trust me, mechanic. You want this information. They scraped together everything they had. Old salvage, emergency funds, even Nari's personal savings, which she gave up with a look that could have killed. In the end, it was barely enough. Sujin transferred the files to their ship. Then she looked at Kale one more time. Your people were not killed in war, she said softly. They were murdered. The ones who rule the Confederation now, their ancestors did it. They poisoned your kind. They programmed your cryo chambers to fail. They wanted the Guardians gone because they were too powerful, too loyal, too impossible to corrupt. She paused. You only survived because your chamber was damaged in a way that accidentally saved you. The silence that followed was terrible. Do-Hyun watched Kale's face. The Guardian showed nothing, but his hands were shaking. His 4 massive hands, strong enough to tear metal apart, were trembling like leaves in a storm. Why? Kale's voice was barely a whisper. We protected them. We gave everything for them. Why would they do this? Because they were afraid, Sujin said. Fear makes people do monstrous things. After Sujin left, Kale did not speak for 2 days. He sat in the cargo hold alone. He did not eat. He did not sleep. He just sat there, staring at nothing, lost in a grief that had grown 1,000 times heavier. Do-Hyun brought him food anyway. He sat outside the cargo hold door and talked, about nothing important, about his childhood on Earth, about the first machine he ever fixed, about the time he accidentally set his school on fire trying to build a rocket. Stupid stories, small stories, human stories. On the second night, the cargo hold door opened. Kyle stood there looking down at Do-Hyun with eyes that burned like dying stars. I want to destroy them, Kyle said, the ones who killed my people. I want to tear their worlds apart. I want them to feel what I feel. Do-Hyun nodded slowly. I understand. Do you? Do you understand what it is like to wake up and find that everything you loved was murdered? That the ones you trusted were the ones who betrayed you? No, Do-Hyun admitted. I don't understand. I can't understand. But I know that destroying them won't bring your people back. It won't fill the emptiness inside you. It will just make you into the thing they always said you were. Kale's hands clenched. And what am I supposed to do? Forgive them? No, never forgive. But maybe... Do-Hyun hesitated. Maybe you could protect something new. Maybe that's why you survived. Not for revenge, for a second chance. Kale stared at him for a long moment. Then slowly, he sat down next to Do-Hyun. The floor groaned under his weight. How do you do it? Kale asked. How do you face impossible situations and still hope? Your species has no special powers, no advanced technology, no genetic modifications. How do you survive? Do-Hyun thought about it. We don't know what's impossible, he said finally. So we just try anyway. We fail a lot. We break a lot. But sometimes we succeed, and those times make everything else worth it. That is insane. Yeah, probably. They sat together in silence. 2 small creatures in the vast darkness of space, one ancient and broken, one young and stubborn, neither of them knowing what would come next. But for the first time since he woke up, Kale did not feel completely alone. Commander Bak Ji-woo had served the Confederation for 20 years. She believed in law. She believed in order. She believed that the rules existed for good reasons, and that following them made the galaxy safer for everyone. Now she stood in a secret archive beneath the Confederation capital, reading files that destroyed everything she believed in. The files were old, older than the current government. They had been locked away, hidden, protected by layers of security that should have been impossible to break. But Sujin's information had included access codes. Codes that led Ji-woo to truths she never wanted to know. The Oravani Elimination Project. That was what they called it. A careful, methodical plan to destroy an entire species. The reports were written in cold, official language. Number of subjects terminated. Cryo-chamber failure rate. Timeline for complete extinction. Ji-woo felt sick. She had been hunting Park Do-yun and his alien for weeks. She had told herself she was doing the right thing. The Guardian was dangerous. It was a weapon from a dead age. It needed to be contained for the safety of everyone. But the Guardian was not a weapon. The Guardians had never been weapons. They were protectors. Loyal, gentle, devoted protectors who had been murdered by the ancestors of the very people Ji-woo served. Her hand shook as she copied the files to a hidden device. She knew what she had to do. She knew it would destroy her career, probably her life. But some things were more important than survival. She found the Persistence 3 days later, hiding in an asteroid field near the border of Confederation space. When her ship appeared on their sensors, Nari immediately began charging weapons. "Wait!" Ji-woo said over the communication channel. "I'm not here to arrest you, I'm here to help." Nobody believed her. Why would they? She had been chasing them for weeks. She had the authority to destroy their ship with a single command. But Do-hyun listened. He always listened. "Let her dock," he said. "Are you crazy?" Nari shouted. "She's Confederation! She's been trying to kill us!" "She hasn't fired yet. She could have. She didn't." Do-hyun looked at the screen showing Ji-woo's face. "Something changed. I want to know what." Ji-woo came aboard alone, unarmed. She walked past Nari, who watched her with murderous eyes. She walked past Kale, who stood like a statue of judgment, golden eyes burning into her soul. She stopped in front of Do-hyun. "I found the truth," she said, "about what happened to the Oravani, about what my government did." She held out the device containing the files. "Everything is here. The orders, the reports, the names of everyone involved. The Confederation built itself on genocide, and they've been hiding it ever since." Do-hyun took the device. He looked at it for a long moment. "Why are you giving this to us?" he asked. "Because it's wrong." Ji-woo's voice cracked. "Everything I've done, everything I've served, it's built on lies and murder. I can't live with that. I won't live with that." Kyle moved closer. His shadow fell over Ji-woo like a mountain. "Your ancestors killed my people," he said. "My brothers, my sisters, the ones I swore to protect. They died because your kind was afraid of us." Ji-woo looked up at him. She did not look away. She did not make excuses. "Yes," she said simply. "And I'm sorry. I know that means nothing. I know words can never fix what was done. But I'm sorry anyway." For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Kyle stepped back. "You have courage," he said. "That is rare." Do-hyun plugged the device into the ship's computer. The files appeared on screen, page after page of horror written in bureaucratic language. Nari read through them with growing anger. Sujin's information had been right, but seeing the official documents made it real in a way that rumors never could. "We need to release this," Nari said. "Show everyone what really happened. Burn the Confederation down with the truth." "It's not that simple," Ji-woo said. They control all the major communication networks. Any transmission we make, they'll block it before it reaches 10 systems. We need something bigger, something they can't stop. Do-hyun was quiet, thinking. His eyes had that look Nari knew well, the look he got when he was solving a problem that seemed impossible. The Orivani, he said slowly. They were the most advanced species in the old alliance. Their communication technology was thousands of years ahead of everyone else. Kyle nodded. We had relay stations throughout the galaxy. They could send messages to every world simultaneously. Nothing could block them. Nothing could intercept them. Do any of those stations still exist? Kyle was silent for a moment, searching memories that were over 1,000 years old. There was one, he said finally. At the edge of known space, a hidden station built for emergencies. If it survived, it would still have power. The Orivani built things to last. Nari pulled up a star map. Show me where. Kyle pointed. The location was far away, very far, past Confederation borders, past civilized space, in a region that modern ships rarely visited. Getting there would take weeks. Getting there without being caught would take a miracle. But they had come this far on miracles. One broadcast, Do-hyun said. One message, sent to every world in the galaxy at the same time. The Confederation couldn't hide it. They couldn't deny it. Everyone would know the truth. The fleet will follow us, Jiwoo warned. Once they realize what we're planning, they'll send everything they have to stop us. Do-hyun smiled. It was a tired smile, but there was something bright in it, something unbreakable. Then we'll have to be faster than them. Nari started the engines. The Persistence groaned and shook, but it held together. It always held together, because Do-hyun refused to let it fall apart. Behind them, Jiwoo's abandoned ship floated empty. In front of them, the stars stretched out like a road to somewhere impossible. The real journey was beginning. The Orivani relay station hung in space like a forgotten monument. It was beautiful in a sad way, all curved metal and crystal spires, dark against the distant stars. Nothing had touched it for over 1,000 years. Nothing except time and silence. Do-hyun looked at it through the window and felt the weight of history pressing down on him. This place had been built by Kale's people, built to last forever. Built by hands that were now dust. We made it, Nari said. Her voice was rough with exhaustion. They had been running for 18 days, 18 days of hiding, jumping, and praying. The Persistence had nearly fallen apart twice. Do-hyun had kept it alive through stubbornness alone. Behind them, the Confederation fleet was coming. Jiwoo's reports said there were 30 ships. Warships, heavy cruisers, enough firepower to destroy a small moon. They would arrive in less than 2 hours. 2 hours to repair a 1,000-year-old alien communication system. 2 hours to change the galaxy. Let's get to work, Do-hyun said. The inside of the station was dark and cold. Emergency lights flickered on as they entered, weak and uncertain. Frost covered the walls. The air tasted like metal and age. Kyle walked through the corridors with slow, careful steps. His golden eyes moved over every surface, every symbol, every shadow. This was his people's place, their technology, their legacy, and now it might be their voice, speaking one final time to a galaxy that had forgotten them. They found the control room at the center of the station. The main console was massive, covered in switches and screens that had not glowed for centuries. Do-hyun approached it carefully, his tools ready. Can you fix it? Jiwoo asked. Do-hyun did not answer. He was already working, pulling panels off, looking at the systems inside. What he saw made his heart sink. The technology was advanced. Far more advanced than anything humans had ever built. Circuits made of materials he could not name. Energy systems based on principles he could not understand. It was like asking a child to repair a starship. But Do-hyun had fixed things his whole life. He had learned that machines, no matter how complex, all followed the same basic rules. Power needed to flow. Connections needed to be complete. Broken parts needed to be replaced or bypassed. He started working. Kyle knelt beside him, explaining what he could remember about Oravani systems. His knowledge was incomplete, fragmented by time and grief, but it helped. Nari and Ji-woo ran cables from the Persistence, feeding power into the station's dead systems. Sujin, who had met them at the station with a small ship full of supplies, worked on the communication files, preparing the truth for broadcast. An hour passed, then another. The fleet was getting closer. Do-hyun's hands never stopped moving. He welded, rewired, improvised. He used human batteries to replace dead Oravani power cells. He connected systems that were never meant to work together. He talked to the machines, begging them to wake up, promising them that their last act would matter. 90 minutes. The fleet appeared on sensors, 30 dots of light, growing larger with each passing second. Do-hyun, Nari said. Her voice was tight with fear. We're running out of time. I know. Can you do it? He did not answer. He was deep inside the console now, surrounded by ancient technology that glowed faintly with returning power. His fingers found the last broken connection. He could see what needed to happen. He just needed to make it work. The console sparked. Do-hyun jumped back, his hands smoking. For a terrible moment, nothing happened. Then the screens flickered on. Light flooded the control room. Symbols appeared, swirling and dancing, speaking a language that had not been heard for over a millennium. The station hummed with power, waking from its long sleep. It's working, Kyle breathed. Do-hyun, it's working. But the fleet was here now. Through the station's windows, they could see the Confederation ships taking position, forming a wall of weapons pointed at the station. A voice crackled over the communication system. This is Confederation Command. Power down the station and surrender immediately. You have 60 seconds to comply. Ji-woo stepped to the console. The broadcast system is ready. We just need to transmit. The station's shields are failing, Nari reported. They won't hold against a full attack. Do-hyun looked at Kyle. The Guardian stood tall and still, his 4 hands clenched at his sides. His golden eyes were fixed on the fleet outside. I can protect the station, Kyle said quietly. My people were engineered for defense. I can create a shield that will hold long enough for the broadcast. How long? Do-hyun asked. A few minutes, maybe less. Kyle's voice was calm. It will drain everything I have. I may not survive. Do-hyun shook his head. No, there has to be another way. There isn't. Kyle turned to face him. For the first time since he woke up, his eyes were at peace. You saved me, Do-hyun. You gave me purpose again. You showed me that I was more than a weapon. He placed one massive hand on Do-hyun's shoulder. Let me protect something one last time. The Confederation ships began firing. The station shook with impacts. Alarms screamed. Kyle walked to the center of the room. He closed his eyes. Light began to pour from his body, bright and golden, spreading outward through the walls, forming a barrier around the station. The Confederation weapons hit the barrier and scattered like rain against stone. Now, Kale said through gritted teeth. Do it now. Ji-woo pressed the transmission button. The broadcast went out. The truth about the Oravani, the files, the evidence, everything. It poured out across the galaxy, touching every world, every station, every ship. 10,000 systems received it simultaneously. There was no way to stop it, no way to hide from it. The Confederation's sins were exposed for all to see. Kyle fell. The golden light faded. The Guardian collapsed to the floor, his massive body suddenly still. Do-hyun ran to him, dropping to his knees beside his friend. Kyle! Kyle, can you hear me? The golden eyes opened. They were dim now, almost dark, but they found Do-hyun's face and held on. Did it work? Kyle whispered. Yes, it worked. Everyone knows now, everyone. Kyle smiled. It was a small smile, tired and sad and somehow beautiful. Good, he said. That is good. Outside, the Confederation fleet had stopped firing. The broadcast had reached them too. Ships were breaking formation, turning away, commanders arguing with each other over channels that everyone could hear. The truth was spreading, and nothing could put it back in the box. Nari was shouting about escape routes. Jiwoo was coordinating with ships that were defecting from the fleet. Sujin was already planning the next phase, the political upheaval that would follow. But Do-hyun stayed with Kyle. He held the Guardian's massive hand in his small human one's, refusing to let go. You're not dying, Do-hyun said fiercely. I won't let you. I fix broken things, remember? I'll fix you too. Kale's eyes flickered. Some things cannot be fixed. Watch me. And in that moment, surrounded by the chaos of a galaxy changing forever, Do-hyun started working again. He found power cells. He found medical supplies. He found pieces of Oravani technology that might possibly keep a dying Guardian alive. It was impossible. Everyone said so. But Do-hyun did not know what impossible meant. 1 year later, a small ship traveled through peaceful space. The Confederation had fallen. A new government was forming, one built on truth instead of lies. The galaxy was healing, slowly, painfully, but healing. On the ship, a human mechanic sat across from an Oravani Guardian, playing a card game neither of them fully understood. You cheated, Kale said. I adapted. Do-hyun replied with a grin. That is the same thing. Only if you lose. Nari rolled her eyes from the pilot seat. Jiwoo laughed quietly in the corner. Sujin was already planning their next adventure, something involving ancient ruins and forgotten treasure. They were not heroes. They were not legends. They were just people, broken and stubborn and alive, and sometimes that was enough.